you also get to assess and decide if that relationship is serving you. 5 steps to assess if the relationship you have with your agent or manager is actually working. Hi there, Jodie Bentley here, actor, producer, and career coach. And today I want to talk about assessing the relationship with your reps. Now, this has been coming up as of late with some of my clients. Because sometimes we're with people in the industry for a long time, and I have a couple clients in particular who've been with their managers or their agents for 10 years, 15 years. And that's just what they know. It's just what they've been doing. Now, look, I'm a Virgo. I'm loyal. I believe in loyalty, right? But you also get to assess and decide if that relationship is serving you. And that's what one client posed to me. She said, how do you know? How do you know if this relationship is still working or relationships I'm supposed to be in? It's just what I've always known. It's just what I've always done. Maybe you can relate to that. Well, I always like to look at the data and the facts over the emotions, right? Because as actors, we get caught up in the emotions of things, but we really want to look at the facts. Because a lot of times when we assess our agent relationships, or we start to think about our agent or manager relationships, we get that grass is always greener thing. Oh, but that person's getting in the room. That person's booking. Oh, their agency must be better. What am I doing here? I'll go there. Then you jump ship, you go somewhere else, and you're like, oh, this is exactly the same situation I was in. Oh, maybe I'll go there, right? The whole grass is always greener thing can be tough. That's going by your emotions. That's not going by data, right? And the other thing that was coming up with clients too with these long-term relationships is that they'd rather have that person than have no one. So let's talk about this. So I really want to talk about 5 steps to assess if the relationship you have with your agent or manager is actually working, especially if you've been with them a long time. Okay, I'm not talking about 3 months or even a year at this point, right? I mean, God, 3 months. People are 3 months, I haven't gotten an audition. Okay, time out, take a breath. It takes them a little bit to get going, to get your name papered out there, to submit you, right? We got to cut our agents some slack here. They're not miracle workers. You got to do your part. So this video is really about the people who've been with you for a long time. So let's assess this. So number 1, I really invite you to look at, and I trust you're tracking this, your auditions. How many auditions are you actually getting with that agent or manager? It's really important to do that. And are they the types of auditions that you want? Are you getting the auditions that you want? Or are you really wanting to tell, deep stories of survival, but they're submitting you for cop number 2 for the past 10 years? So that's what we got to assess. How many auditions are you actually getting? Is that enough auditions for you? Is that what you want? And are the auditions what you really want to be doing? So that's just number 1. We are assessing the data. Number 2, we're continuing to assess the data with a submission report. So I invite you to ask them for a submission report. I've done a video before about submission reports. I invite you to look it up. You can find that and how to go about asking for them. But they're really important information. So once you get that submission report, look at how many auditions are they actually submitting you for versus how many you've gotten. And are those the offices that you really want to get into? And is there an office that they submitted you for 50 times that's never called you in? So maybe they don't have a relationship with them, which means you get to build a relationship with them. Again, data over the emotions. So we want to look at the amount of auditions and we want to look at the submission report. And the third thing I invite you to do is take a meeting. Request a meeting. Rather, I also invite you to request this said meeting once you have really examined your own career, your brand, your materials, your tools. You know who you are, what you want, and where you're going. That is really important. And if you don't know that, don't take the meeting, because it's just going to be tell me what to do or just talking about things for no reason, right? You want to have a reason, purpose, and strategy. So if you don't know those things, You can join my Actors Think Tank VIP membership, number one. I'm sure you've seen me talk about it in here. But really know that stuff before you take a meeting. So now you're going to request a meeting. You're going to talk to them about who you are, what you want, where you're going, the trajectory of your career, your brand, the roles you want to play, the relationships you're building to do that. Get on the same page. Reignite the passion, right? You guys were doing good in the beginning, I'm assuming. But now it's just been a long time. So let's reignite the relationship, get them excited once again about who you are and where you want to go. So now after this meeting, or even prior, step 4 is really ask yourself, why have you stayed? Why? Have you stayed out of complacency? Because that's not a good reason. Or because it's comfortable, because you know them, because it's there. Have you stayed because you're afraid to have no one, like I mentioned earlier? Or have you stayed because you do deep down believe you can do things together? But like I just said, maybe it just needs to we need to reignite the fire, right? The fire of working together and getting back on that same page. But I invite you to really get honest with yourself. Why? Why are you still in this relationship? And the 5th thing, you get to ask yourself, once you've collected the data, do you want to work with them? Are they your team member? Or do you just like them? And that's what can be hard when we're in relationships for a long time with agents and managers, because we go, well, I like them. Of course you like them. That's why you've been with them for so long. But are they the person to be your team member, or do you just like them? And I can't answer that question for you. Neither can anybody else. That gets to come from you. But I invite you to collect all that data first and really understand why you've stayed, to then answer that question. And then you get to make a decision. You get to make a decision from facts, from data, not drama or emotions, and from your truth. And sometimes this takes a little bit to suss out. So I know sometimes we get antsy. We want things to happen like that. Oh, I don't know if this is the right agent. I should start looking tomorrow, right? We get into that pattern. So please be proactive, not reactive with this, and really assess the whole situation through the lens of data and your truth and who you want to be in this industry. And then decide if they're the team member or if they've really just been a friend and someone that you like. And only then can you really move forward with, how do I want to say this? I guess the right amount of expectation, right? Or else it's to not have that, oh, if I jump here, the world is going to be different, right? You can move forward with more clarity in what you actually want and in who you're actually looking for, and or, again, reigniting that relationship with the person that you're in, but that you're with, but that comes from you. That comes from you taking the reins and going, okay, again, this is who I am. This is what I want. This is where we're going. I'm meeting these people. These are the kinds of shows I want to be on. Do I need to get new marketing tools? Where are we? Right? That's part of that conversation. But that's how you're going to move forward with clarity. So if you've been with your person for a long time and you're trying to figure out, is this where I'm meant to be? I invite you to really follow these 5 steps and assess that relationship to be able to have clarity around it and not get caught up in the emotion. All right, I trust this helps. Let me know what you think below, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.